Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Trek Canon. So today I wanted to do a video that I've been wanting to do for a while, and the reason I haven't is because of the way that I wanted to do the video. YouTube probably would have flagged it. So I'm gonna have to resort to another way of doing a video, which I decided to be this way. So this video today is going to be on the examination of the episode Duet from Star Trek Deep Space Nine. And it is episode 119. Alright, I'm going to have a few notes with me because the way that I wanted to do the subject, right? Uh, it's a subject that it's kind of a topic that I don't really know much about, but I wanted to view it through the eyes of this episode. And more specifically about this episode, the conversation between these two individuals. Now, for those of you who haven't seen the episode Duet, please stop this video. Go take a look at season 1, episode 19 of Deep Space Nine, the episode Duet. Come back and see what this video has to say and what it has to offer. But for anybody who has seen the video or people who don't mind spoilers, then let's continue. So let's jump on into it, man. Let's do the daggone thing. Now, I'm going to give a brief overview of the episode Duet. All right. And basically, what's going on is that they receive a transmission from a approaching vessel that's about to dock, saying that they have a individual on board with the Kolinar syndrome, which is a syndrome that's deadly, and you can only get it from one place known in the galaxy, and that was at the Galatep mining. At the Galatep mining and forced labor facility. Call it what it is. At the Galatep slave camp. But anyway, it was one of the slave camps that Kira Nerys had liberated while she was a freedom fighter for the Bajorans, or a terrorist to the Cardassians. One man's ceiling is another man's floor. Perspective. But anyway, Kira goes. They beam this individual to sick bay. Kira goes to meet this individual, expecting it to be a Bajoran, when it turns out to be a Cardassian. Now she immediately locks up this Cardassian, and they begin trying to determine how this Cardassian came down with this particular disease and to figure out who he is. Now, in the process of trying to figure out who he is, he's saying that he's one person, but when they receive the records with a picture based on, what the image says, this person is not only one of the high-ranking officers of the Galatep Cardassian force, but he is the highest-ranking member of the Cardassian force, Goldar Hill. Now, Goldar Hill was basically a war criminal. Well, he wasn't basically a war criminal. He was a war criminal. He was one of the top people wanted by the new government of the Bajorans. All right. Now, the thing is that the mystery begins to unfold as to, is this guy really Goldar Hill, or if this guy is really Maritza, which is the filing clerk. All right. Now, according to the evidence, Goldar Hill is dead, but they have Goldar Hill in their lab. So there's an exchange that begins to happen between Kira and Goldar Hill that covers a range of things from the occupation to current and the prejudices on both sides. All right. And it culminates in a really nice ending that I was not expecting. So, what I wanted to do, like I said, the purpose of this video, I just want to give you guys an overview of the episode. Just kind of recap with everybody, the generalities of what's going on, is that I want to look at this episode from the title of the episode as of a duet. All right. Now, I'm not going to get all preachy and all, what a duet is, but I'm pretty sure I'll end up putting it about right here what a duet is for people who are probably unsure, because I was a bit surprised by the definition when I found out myself, to tell you the truth, and I kind of value myself a wordsmith. But anyway, um, so based on the definition of what a duet is, right? It is two instruments playing their own piece that's blended into one piece, basically. All right. Now, I wanted to identify each instrument that's going to be used in this piece, in this orchestral movement, or in this duet, as I should say. All right. And the first instrument is the alto sax. All right, the alto sax, it can be described as a one of the most versatile instruments. It can be played in jazz. It can be played in heavy metal. It can be played in rock. It can be played in alternative R&B. All right, a song is never diminished, especially in the 80s. A song is never diminished by the presence of a saxophone. It's a powerful instrument, yet it can be smooth and serene, mellow. All right. Now, this instrument, I decided to make Major Kira Nerese. She is my alto sax. Now, again, the way that I wanted to do it was have these instruments playing in the background, but again, copyright, flagging videos, then y'all won't be able to see them. It's a whole downward spiral. But anyway, for the for Goldar Hill slash Maritza, I wanted the instrument to be the Den On. All right, and the Den On, I'm sorry, not the Den On, but the Don Tre. That's this right here, the DANTR to the E. Anyway, the Don Tre. Now, a lot of people may be looking at this instrument and saying, "What is that? Did somebody put this together?" Is that okay? That's exactly what happened. The history of this particular instrument, right, is this guy, this gentleman, and I'm gonna mess his name up, right? His name was Ming Tam Nugent, and I put it right here. And for anybody who pronounces that a lot better than I do, hook me up in the comments. But basically, a little bit about this instrument is that this particular gentleman, I'm not really going to get too much into it, but he had a sad story of being captured while serving in Vietnam. And this is where he designed this composite instrument. This instrument is basically, as you can tell, is put together from different pieces, various pieces, and it sounds like a mix between European and Asian stringed instruments or wind instruments or stringed instruments, all right? But it is considered a stringed instrument. Now, its sound is melodic as well. It can be a bit deceiving. Having not heard of it before, some people may mistake it for several other types of instruments. All right, and like I said, it was put together as a composite instrument. Now, I wanted that instrument to represent Goldar Hill and Maritza simply because of the nature of the character. The nature of the character is he was forged in that particular environment, a composite of two people, or one person he's trying to portray and the person that he is. Okay. Now, these two music instruments, these two music styles, and these two different artists, musicians come together and they form this duet that is put forth in this episode, each one of them putting forth their own song. Now, if you want to think about the arrangement, as they say, if you want to think about the arrangement, you can say that the first stanza starts when the Kira receives the first hail. She finds out that there's a person that has the Kolinar syndrome. And you can tell that the instrument, you can hear that the instrument begins its first stanza or its opening with such compassion, such emotion. You can hear the heartache and the pain that's in the song. All right. As we follow along with the first stanza and the intro of the saxophone, right? We can hear the tension build up in the arrangement. We can hear, I mean, in the melody, we can hear the anger build. We can hear the suspense build as we see that there's going to be, and we notice that there's going to be an introduction of another instrument. All right. Now the thing is that we begin a second stanza with kind of a powerful yet reasonable tone to the music. The saxophone is intentional. It's purposeful. It's prodding. The music is it's got you towards the edge of your seat. You're alert. All right. And then you hear the smoothness of the Dantre start to come in, and you can hear how low it is. You can hear how purposeful it is. You can hear you can sense the coy and the misleadings of the arrangement of so you start to hear the blend of these particular two instruments, and the first duet of the song, you can see the back and forth gentle pushing between the two arrangements. Now, when we get into the third stanza, is where it starts to get a bit interesting. All right, the song starts to be taken over by the Dantre. All right, the Dantre is starting to make the trumpet submit. It's starting to take its place in the duet. It's starting to overshadow the trumpet, which, I mean, not the trumpet, but the sax, which was dominant before. The arrangement is now horrific. It is pounding. It is full of fear. All right, you can hear the heartbeat of the song. All right, you can hear how the Don Trey, which was before so sweet and melodic and so uh, smooth, has now taken a place of dominance, has now taken a place of prominence in the song. And the saxophone has begun to retreat. It is still trying to play its melody. You can still hear the song being played, but it's now different. It is more submissive. It is more second guessing. It's more defeated, as you would say. All right. Now, we take an intermission in the song, and everybody gets up to go and get their drinks and everything like that. And we notice that the saxophone player is getting a pep talk from one of the composers. And the composer tells it, hey, why is this Don Trey player forcing you to behave this way? And come to think of it, why is this Don Trey player asking questions about you, before the concert even started? I think that this Don Trey player knows you. How do they know your history? How do they know how you play to be able to make you submit this way? All right. Now, the thing is, if we start to also find out different other pieces of information about the instrument that's being used, we find out that this instrument is an instrument that is composite, it's put together. It has a history and a style of play that's very much different than what this style of play has been presented in the song, in the duet. All right. Up until now, this then player has started off being very coy, very deceptive, um, very matter of factly in his approach to the material, and then out of the blue, start to become dominant and change up the whole atmosphere of the song. All right. Now, we go back into the third and last stanza. Well, I'm not going to call it the last stanza, but we go into the third stanza. I mean, the fourth stanza. And in the fourth stanza, you can hear the trumpet start with a low, nice rhythm. Really nice tone, really sympathetic to this particular piece. Now, on the flip side of that, the Don Trey is still bearing, still strong, still trying to defeat and take over this particular duet. It's still trying to play its piece in dominance and make the saxophone submit. However, through the continued use of this smooth melody of the saxophone, through the application of different rhythms and notes and different nuances and things that was a different style of play totally than what the Don Trey player or instrument was expecting. It totally broke him out of that image, and you can hear the song change. You can hear his melody change. It started to match the music of the saxophone. All right, you can hear it break down from being uh, angry and chaotic and burying to very sorrowful, to very remorseful, to very pitiful. All right, you can see, you could start to hear the true player behind the instrument come out, the true sound. You can start to identify what the true meaning of what the player's intent of his song was. And since you knew that, you are now able to match your song in such a way to as to create a proper duet. Now, because of the history of the instruments having never played before, this was something that was quite unusual for this saxophone player to end up with a duet of this fashion with this Dontre player. They're not really known to be instruments that are meant to go together. All right, historically in the musician field. All right, in the musical arena. Now, the thing is that you're always going to have your critics of the music. All right, you're always going to have your elements of people who don't like the particular duet that's being made. Maybe they weren't around to see the effort that was put into the song. But needless to say, the final stanza was that of the saxophone by itself, playing in true concert both the song of the saxophone, the changed song of the saxophone, and the final song of the Dontre instrument, both through its own version of the song. And that was the ending, having the Dontre instrument die out in the duet. So, tell me what you guys thought of my examination of the episode Duet, and if you guys felt that the writer named the episode appropriately based on the conversation between, or the playing styles, or the different musical uh, musical stylings, as they say. I couldn't find another word, and I just said that I was a wordsmith. Anyway, of the instruments that were involved in this particular duet. So, I love to hear you guys' comments. Let me know what you guys thought. Thank you guys for watching and commenting on the video as always, and being high speed subscribers and people who just support the channel and like the material. So as always, peace, recycle, save the whales. Be cool.